I lost that other thought, but I'll come back to it. So I learned that Spotify is really leaning into their creators. So if y'all have been keeping up with Spotify, then you know that Spotify has been going through this whole like rebranding process, and they have been trying to get out of just being known for music to getting into podcasting, right? Like that was like the first stage of the transition. And now in 2025, they are changing Spotify to Spotify for creators. And so yeah, Sister Mary Clarence. That's who I'm channeling today. And so Big Mary. So their goal is to get more and more creators over to Spotify so that they can grow the platform. And so there's a creator who I love listening to because she gives very good predictions on the creator economy and what direction is going in. And so she was talking about her prediction that long form content will have a bigger comeback than any of us probably anticipated. But like honestly, y'all, not me. I've been feeling like this for a while, and I've been saying it for a while. But the thing about being someone who's forward thinking and like thinks in the future, it is hard to like tell people things and find those people who are willing to like take things on in the beginning. Like it's not easy to attract other trendsetters. It's not, and maybe it's not that it's hard. Maybe it's not that it's hard, but it's not, everybody's not going to do it. I guess that's the biggest thing. I won't say that it's hard, but everybody's not going to do it. And so when I would say, there was a couple of things that I have been saying to people, and I've been saying this since the end of 2023, that the people should look into doing more written content. And I specifically told people about um Substack. And I was saying how Substack is a really good platform for people who want to explore written content, who want to bring in a mix of their podcasts or YouTube videos, and have that be a space where you like rally the troops. Because with Substack, you can have subscriptions, so people can subscribe to your newsletters. You can mix media, so you can have written, you can have photos, you can have video, you can connect your you can connect your podcast to Substack. And so Substack is essentially, the basis of it is that it's a platform for people to build newsletters and write blogs, and that is where they got their start. So like think almost kind of like if Patreon and blogging made a baby. That is what Substack is like at its core. And so they have been growing, especially this year, in their user base, and they are finding a lot of content creators, especially the ones who like to be more thorough and in depth and are looking for something that does not have the same intensity that platforms like TikTok might have. And so, yeah, I was talking about Substack. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And so a lot of people, not a lot, because I think that there's still a lot of people who aren't on there, but I started seeing more and more people talking about it. And I was like, there's something here. If you can figure out how to make Substack work for you, or even some form of like getting more in depth and like diving deeper into topics, then you might be, you might be in a good spot. And so personally, I've posted a few things over there. I got interested in it because I was trying to figure out how to create landing page for this um a landing page for this service that I had. I can't think off the top of my head what it was, but I was selling something. And so instead of doing like a typical landing page, because sometimes like the technical aspects of creating a landing page and like the designs and creating the funnel, all of that stuff, I can do it, but it takes so much time to try to figure out how to connect all the pieces that it ends up frustrating me. And so it takes me so long to create like a typical landing page. And a lot of times for most creators, especially if your career, if your brand is really like creator first, most creators are really not skilled at running as a business or operating as a business. Like they know, make the content, be creative, get followers. They're really good at marketing, but the aspect of actually running what you do as a business is not a strong suit for many creators. Hey, big sis. And so the yeah, I agree. But it doesn't change the fact that that's not the skills that a lot of creators have. Like that's like a really big gap in the market. And so even when you look at Visa just created a category where content creators are now being recognized as businesses. And so they can now function and operate more in line with what they are, which is, media companies. And it's like a really big step in the like the business world, because even when you look at the list of industries, content creation is not recognized as an industry. You literally have to figure out what's the closest thing to it in order to qualify. So there's a lot of things that are moving, and a lot of things that are happening that are making it so that you can now operate and function as a business, but there is still a lot of work to do to not only make it so that creators can operate and function as a business, but also so that they have the knowledge and the capabilities to function as a business. And so there on both ends, there's things happening, things changing. And so anyway, my whole obsession these past 2 years has been, how do I help creatives to still be creative and have that essence of who they are as a creator, because that's what we bring that's unique to the marketplace. That is what makes us an asset. That is what makes us innovators. That is what makes us solutionaries. Like that is what makes us special, and that we don't think within the parameters of the typical business world. Like that's one of our superpowers. But where we are lacking is in more of the technical things and the things that would allow us to operate in a more sustainable manner, like literally doing things that allow us to actually function, have some stability, have some longevity in what we do, and ultimately not to become the starving artist stereotype that we can fall into, like that trope that we can fall into. So my goal has been, how do I take what I know from the creative space and what I know is a need, and what I know are our strengths, and then how do I bring that and couple that with the technical things, the business things that allow us to not only do what we love, but to do it long term. And so I was just experimenting with different concepts. And so sales pages was one of those things. Like I hate them. I hate sales pages. I hate the funnels. I hate trying to like think in that way, and but also still be creative. Sometimes even just looking at the templates, I'm like, boo to all of this. Like it just is too complicated, and I don't think that it needs to be that complicated. And so I was experimenting with the idea of using Substack or a blog post as a sales page, and not doing the typical sales page, because what I was able to do when I wrote it is that I was able to use a platform that naturally pushes traffic. That's one of the things, that's one of the assets to using a platform like Substack, is that they are pushing content for you as well, because it's still like technically social media, even though it's in a different format than, the typical video, TikTok, YouTube situation. And so I knew that that was going to be a benefit. So I can write this entire page of copy, and even if I don't promote it, the platform is promoting it for me. So eyes are getting to this. I can tell a full story with pictures, with quote blocks, with words, with links to different things. And yes, yeah. And after this, I think you're going to really want to lean into Substack. And so I started to see the appeal and the benefit in just like getting my thoughts out and writing it in a way that is literally how I talk, how I think, and also in a way where I know that the people who I'm attracting would find it appealing too. So I created my landing page using a Substack post. And what I saw, I don't have the numbers with me right now, but what I do remember is that it ended up getting, I only promoted it maybe 2 or 3 times, but it got more clicks and views than like me just like posting and talking about it on TikTok or talking about it on live. And that meant that not only was the copy good, but the platform itself was pushing it for me, so that I didn't have to consistently like post and talk about it and show up and be on live. Like there was a sense of ease in it, and it wasn't complicated, it wasn't fussy. And so I really love that. And when I saw the potential in it, that made me really say, oh, I think that more people should lean into something like this, because not only can you like get your thoughts out and put them in a way where it doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be, I mean, you don't want to have a bunch of grammatical errors, but you can just talk how you talk, tell the story how you need to tell the story, and you can nurture people and sell all in one place. And as I'm talking about this, I feel like I want to challenge myself to do another one. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do another one. I'm gonna do another landing page, and we're gonna experiment with it and see what happens. Because I just feel like if people can lean into it and challenge themselves to do something outside of what we've been doing for the past 2 3 years, especially with short form video, that you'll find yourself not only ahead of the curve, but you might potentially be opening yourself up to, new people finding you, new community members. You can break out of like almost like the rut that you might feel like you're in. And so anyway, all of this whole line of thinking, and me talking about Substack. It was because I was listening to a prediction where platforms like Substack, platforms like Spotify, and as they make their transition to Spotify for creators, is going to be a big opportunity for people who need to create longer content, like long form content that allows you to just flesh out your thoughts, to tell stories, to nurture people, to give them a space where they don't have to continuously scroll, but they can just sit and listen and learn or laugh or be entertained or whatever. And the reward in that is not only are you building a community, but now you can tell people about the things that you have, that they would now, because they know you, be more inclined to purchase and buy. And even outside of the nurturing piece and it making selling more natural and less like hectic, because that's what it feels like with short form content right now. It feels very hectic and urgent and go go go, now, get, buy. Not having that constant like barrage of ads and selling, But also the platform itself, Spotify, is looking to rival YouTube in terms of how they pay creators. And so the number that they showed, like a figure, just a concept. I don't put too much stock into payouts from platforms. So I'm always going to be cautious on that. So I'm not like, I'm not caping for them just yet because I don't know. That's my disclaimer. But from what they share in the figures, let's say that you get I think it's like 1.2 or 1.4 million views, which if you think about some of the creators who make consistently good content, who gets a nice amount of views, right? That 1.2 million cumulative is not as big of a number as it sounds. So the 1.4 million views would equal $24,000. And when you look at the views for a platform like TikTok and the payout that people are getting, I mean, that might get them a couple $100, depending on how much their revenue is per minute. Then they might be able to get like in the thousands, but nowhere near $24,000. Like you're just not seeing those kind of numbers when it comes to payouts for a platform. And so thinking about the value in that, and then also how much easier it is to accumulate those minutes with longer content. So I could get I feel like 1,000, no, not even I feel 1,000 views is more valuable with an hour long video than it is for a bunch of short form videos, like a 3 second, I mean, not three, but maybe 15-second, 30-second video, 1,000 views. It is not even on the same level as it would for an hour long video. And if y'all think about it, because this is how my mind works, when I look at views on TikTok, 1,000 views doesn't even feel like a lot. It doesn't. And even if I've been riding the 200, 300 view wave, I get 1,000, it still feels like nothing to me. But if I got 1,000 views on this video that I'm doing right now on this live stream on YouTube, that instantly means so much more, because not only is it the views, but then I got the watch time, and the watch time is where you get the money. So just think about how, hey Lloyd, yeah, we have 671. So just think about how much more you can get, and how much more value you're going to be seeing when you invest in this longer content that is not only going to help you to get, even if you get a similar amount of views, the 300 views that I get on a TikTok doesn't mean as much as a 300 that I would get on a video on YouTube. And so I'm sitting here and I'm like kind of processing this and thinking about it. And I'm like, man, that makes so much sense. And so my line of thinking, and this is like giving y'all a little peek into what my next experiment is going to be. My thinking is that if I invested more time into my YouTube videos and my turning my YouTube videos into podcast episodes, I upload those podcast episodes to Spotify. I integrate that Spotify with my Substack. Now, not only am I getting the views and the plays from Spotify, YouTube, but then I also am building a membership for through Substack. And so whether I decide to keep that free or turn that into a membership, I'm now creating different streams of revenue, or different ways to I guess streams is the right word. Different streams of revenue with ideally one piece of content at a time. I can sit down, I can talk for an hour and a half easily. I've shown that I can talk for an hour and a half very easily. And I do that even if that was just once a week. That would be so valuable for me, and it would allow me to be less involved and have to do as much work when it comes to growing my audience, showing up, sharing content. It makes it a little bit easier. So all of that to say that the fact that I'm having so many challenges going live on TikTok is just like, count your days, okay? Count your days, because yeah, you're not just gonna keep making this difficult. I don't enjoy the fight. I don't have anything to prove to you. I don't want it to be a tussle and a struggle every time, because ultimately that just gets in the way of my creation. And it's already a challenge enough just to create the content. I don't need any extra obstacles. So that's just where my head is at. That's what I'm thinking about. I haven't came up with a like solid strategy yet, but those are the platforms that I'm thinking of investing more of my time in, and that's kind of the flow that I'm thinking about using. So, hey Trouble. So when I get that solid, I'll let y'all know, but I don't know how much of it I'll share. My thinking is that I want to try it first, and then I will share with you what I'm doing and what the results are. Okay. So yeah, y'all look into it. If you don't know about Substack, now you need to be looking into Substack seriously, because I told y'all in 2023 to look into writing and look into Substack. I told y'all that you still got time, but now you have an option to incorporate mixed media into your post, so that if you're really just not much of a writer, you still have options. So, and as I'm talking now, I'm thinking about so many different ideas. Ooh, it's making me excited. Okay, but I'll share more as I get more firm on the ideas. All right. So y'all, let's get into this brand personality. Before we talk about it though, I'm gonna drink